I think we're live. Tells me I'm live, and I believe it. And Troll says we're live, and Ben says we're live. So does Gary Davlin. Super fan, Gary Davlin. YouTube wants me to run an ad. I'm not going to hit that button. Last time I hit it, an ad ran. What? What's up, Ben, Tom, Rico, Guitar Man, Rockin' Rob, we got Scott, we got Michael, Jay Schaff, we got Herb, Tactical, Retro Puffer, Fretless Ed, Get Price, Gary Davlin, of course, Michael D, of course, Ed Axman, Ben Coombs, we got Metal Hip Works, and I think I said Ben Tom already. We got Corey, Yeti Motzi, of course, Mike Jones, Joe Hervey, Sky Prop, Terry 3G, my niece, sir, Speaker, and of course, Matt, James, Tony, Terry, Zach, Herb, Michael, got Eddie, got Double A Guitar, and the rest, and the Professor and Marianne. Got snow here, Steve? No snow here. It did snow the other day briefly. It was more like ice pellets, like a squall, like a little squall coming through to signal a change in, a little cold front. What's up, Ron? All the regs, says Coots, a reg himself. Yeah, I went with a Kramer because I wanted something that sort of matched the Creatures of the Night era. And as you know, this is when Kiss was sort of slipping into the glam world. And you had Vinnie Vincent with his mostly Randy Rhoads style guitars. We'll get into it later, when we get into the main topic. But I saw Kiss on that tour, and Vinnie Vincent. I saw Vinnie Vincent and Kiss on tour. So we'll get into that in a little bit. This is a good guitar. Every time I break it out, I'm like, oh yeah, right. I think you're right. Bowie and that whole New York Dolls, The bottom line is that guy, Bill Aucoin, was way into like minstrel shows and, those like Cirque du Soleil and things like that. And he's the one who sort of pushed them into the whole makeup thing, I think. Paul will tell you that every time we went to go see a band, it wasn't the band that, we wanted to see. So we had to become that band. It's like, shut the fuck up. You were so desperate. You were trying anything to get famous. Like every band, you have to, some gimmick. Please. Friggin' please. Like, just, That dude, the revisionist history with that dude is like just, it's incredible. But the reality is that when you're so desperate for fame that you'll do anything to just stand out in the record bin, right? It comes from a time when you discovered new music because you were in Bradley's, and when your mom was out looking at clothes, you ran over to the album section and were going through records. And you wanted an album cover to sort of stand out. And Kiss had album covers. You know, who the hell was this? Right? You know, who was this band with makeup on? They sort of stood out. It was a gimmick. So, you know, Paul, God, that dude. Sometimes you'd say, like, you know, some people like steak, some people like ice cream. With Kiss, you get steak with ice cream. It's like, what are you talking about? That makes no sense. But we got to hand it to him, though. The band probably would have died in the 80s if it wasn't for him. He did hold the band together, but we'll get into it in a little bit. Let's hear your Gene now. This is Gene. Hey, this is Gene Simmons from Kiss. The Kiss Cruise hit an iceberg, and if you want a lifeboat package, those are available. Only $4.99 for an exclusive lifeboat. Yeah, the Kiss casket. So yeah, no, Kiss. You know, Kiss was that band. They just, you know. That in many ways, they are the real Spinal Tap. Right? They are Spinal Tap brought to life. Right? You go, what kind of band? Which way is the wind blowing? Okay, that's what we're doing now. And you know, they could have been getting bad advice, but they were just, you know, and they would see the way the wind was blowing, and then they would jump on the bandwagon 2 years later. And by the time they got on the wagon, by the time they jumped on the train, you know, the party was over. It happened over and over and over again. The first one, of course, the most famous one, of course, is they come out with a disco song in 1979. By 1979, disco is dead. Disco's already on a steep decline, and you're coming out with a disco song then? That song needed to come out on Love Gun like 2 years ago, or even better yet, in 76. That's when you could have done something with that song. But 79? 79, you're coming out with a disco song? No. That's like, yeah, disco was a thing. There was a bandwagon for a while. It exploded in 78. That was the death knell. 78. It culminated in 78. Kind of started out slowly in 75. Really gets going and peaking in like 76. Still a thing in 77. By 78, you know, the movie comes out with John Travolta there, and they sort of like, that was it. That was sort of the final, like, gasp of disco. You know, they made it to the movies, right? It had officially become uncool. And like breakdancing. The second a breakdancing movie came out, breakdancing was dead. But yeah, they just disco was a thing for about a minute, like Psy was, right? But it's over, and no one's right. No one's thinking about going back to it. Uh, yeah, disco duck. Yeah, exactly. And it become a parody of itself. Don't you knock Electric Boogaloo? How dare you? Um, the Bee Gees pretty much they did it. They conquered it. They came in and pretty much took over disco, owned it, and that was it. There was no other real, again, it sort of just blows up in '78. That to me is like the sort of the end of disco, and simultaneously, in a very real way, sort of the end of Kiss. So we'll get into it because we're champing at the bit here. So we cut to like 19, I don't know, probably 76, 75, 76, somewhere around there. Maybe 75. And that exact situation I'm talking about is unfolding. I am like, in Bradley's or like Mammoth Mart, right? Over at Tops, Leechmere, any one of your, department stores, Sears. And my mom is off doing something, and it's myself and my sister, and we're in the record section. All right, we're over in the albums, and we're flipping through, and I come across Kiss, and they have like 3 or 4 albums in there, and I think maybe the new one was, and it could have been either Destroyer or it was Alive, but I'm like, who the hell is this band? What the hell is this? Really caught my attention, just literally because I'm a kid. I'm 10 years old, or only I think I was 9, and maybe 10. Could have been 10. And Kiss sort of like really catches my eye, but I don't know any Kiss songs. I don't know anything about them. Yeah, it could have been Caldor, any one of those. And so I don't have a Kiss album, whatever, but the momentum is sort of building. I'm starting to see Kiss more and more. And then all of a sudden they're on the Paul Lynde like Halloween special, right in September or October of '76, I want to say that was. And they have the witch from, I can't remember her name, but they have the woman who played the Wicked Witch in The Wizard of Oz. And, it's an all-star cast. Paul Lynde. That dude. And he, so that, I'm like blown away. I'm like, oh my God. Kiss are amazing. Of course, my parents are like dying. They're like, this is terrible, but I love it. I'm like, this is the best thing I ever saw in my life. So I'm all into Kiss. It sort of builds in like the next year. And I get the 45 Christine 16. 45 Christine 16 is how they get that 45. Sort of work your way into it. And I got Beatles records. I've got, I've got a few 45s. I probably have K-Tel Dynamite hits of the 70s, right? With, like Crocodile Rock and I Shot the Sheriff on it. So, that Christmas of '77, I'm like, I want Kiss Alive too, right? For Christmas, and I get it. I get Kiss Alive too, and I am like, I'm just like loving it, you know. You open it up and the big kiss, right? That big stage scene, the famous freaking stage scene. And I am just like all in on Kiss. Like I'm like obsessed with the band. So I'm listening to the record. I have Kiss Alive too. That's pretty much my first Kiss album. And I have that and the Christine 1645. And that's pretty much all I have. And then they don't really... I remember they put out... I think Love Gun is already out, right? Because I think he does Love Gun on Kiss Alive too. So I don't think I get Love Gun. I think, I sort of don't really get any more albums. I probably, maybe around 78, what happens is they come out with the 4 solo albums and a greatest hits album, which was double platinum. I think I buy the double platinum album. That gets me more familiar with some of their older catalog. And I get probably Love Gun. I buy Love Gun. And I probably bought Destroyer too, right? Because now I'm like sort of filling it in. And I have, I think that's about it for Kiss records. And I'm like, so how old was I in 78? I'm 12 years old, right? That is the perfect Kiss age, right? Perfect. And I remember, God, I guess it was, I feel like it was the spring, but maybe the album came out in 79, and I remember going to the record store and walking out with both Kiss Dynasty and the Cars Candio. And I think they had both been pretty recently released. So, and I remember it was a crispy day. So it was either a crispy fall day or it was a crispy spring day. But it was nice out and it was crispy out. I remember going up to Popcorn Records and buying both albums, Candio by the Cars and Dynasty by Kiss, and taking them back home. And really liking Candio, and Dynasty I was liking, but then I find out like 2000 Man is actually a cover. It's like one of the best tunes on the record. Not crazy about the disco song, and Kiss is starting to lose me. And then out comes Kiss Meets the Phantom of the Park, and man, talk about a death knell. Nothing hurt them more than that friggin' movie, because it was so goddamn stupid. Even I think I was 13 when that came out. I was like, my God, yeah, because that came out, was that October of 79? September or October of 79? It's like the ABC special movie. And man, even at 13, I was like, this is stupid. So I was like, oh my God. And so Kiss, right? So now all these other bands are coming out. I'm suddenly finding, right? You start to discover other bands. And Kiss starts to become a band that you liked when you were a kid, which was 2 years ago, right? But no longer. You know how that goes, right? So you're starting to outgrow Kiss. And I remember I was 14 and we had a fort going. Like on the edge of the cemetery along a river. And we built it like that winter. It was like that fall. So I must have got those records in the spring of 79. That sounds about right. Because the fall of 79 comes. And we have a pretty cold winter. And the whole like river froze, and there were countless kids down at that river skating. And we wind up hanging out with some of these older kids, and he's like singing like Pink Floyd The Wall. And I was like, oh, what's that? He's like, oh, dude, Pink Floyd The Wall, it just came out. It's probably like the week after Christmas, you know, in between Christmas and New Year's. Everything's totally frozen. I'm like, really? He's like, yeah. He goes, I got The Wall for Christmas. It's amazing. And I'm like, all right. So I run out. I buy Pink Floyd's The Wall. This album, like, friggin' changes me. So, like, my tastes are changing a little bit. Cut to that spring, or that summer, right? And we're hanging out at this, like, fort. And a dude goes, yeah, Kiss has a new album out, like, Unmasked. I was like, really? He's like, yeah, I don't know, man. He goes, it's kind of weird. It looks a little cartoonish. It's very pop. And they were there. Like, so first of all comes Dynasty, right? Dynasty comes out, and that's sort of like they're really veering into this pop world. And then Unmasked comes out, and it's much more pop. I don't even buy Unmasked. I'm like over Kiss. Like, you can't even be serious. And I'm sure there are songs on that album that are decent, but I've never really listened to it. And it's weird because that album goes like #1 and multi-platinum in like New Zealand, right? So it does have success in certain places, right? But, you know, the band's in turmoil. It's all over the place. You know, Peter Criss is probably gone by then. Out comes Music from the Elder. Again, an album that there's a small percentage of people that will go to their grave going, that is the best Kiss album. I'm not in that group. I'm not in that group. In fact, I saw The Elder as Kiss's 2-year late attempt to be The Wall, right? To be Pink Floyd's The Wall, a concept album, right? You've got probably Rush 2112, right? Rush Overture, whatever that is. You've got Pink Floyd's The Wall, and they're like, what do you like, the prog concept albums? We can do a prog concept album. And it just does not fit with that friggin' band. And when I tell you they kind of become a pariah, I am not even kidding you. Like, you wouldn't be caught dead wearing a Kiss shirt, unless you were wearing it ironically. But it was too soon. You couldn't wear a Kiss shirt ironically yet. Right? It's too early. It's too soon. So Kiss, I mean, that's a kids band. They are losing, like, people are just not, they're not, like, listening to Kiss at all. And they're pretty much on the outs. And I said, oh, this band's all done. And then I am in a band. I'm in a band with this bunch of kids, and the kid who owned the rehearsal space was a big Kiss fan. And he had lamented, you know, the Music from the Elder and Unmasked, and even Dynasty to some degree. You know, he was way into, like, you know, Destroyer, Hotter Than Hell, right? All those classic albums, Alive 2. And so he had sort of lamented, right? You're sort of mourning the loss of Kiss, have turned into something you don't recognize anymore. And we're in a band together. And I don't have my license yet. Right before I get my license, I have tickets to go see Kiss. I'm finally going to go see them. Now, all my friends went to go see Kiss on the 79 Dynasty tour and came back, and they were like, it was the best show ever. Everything was amazing. It was so killer, you know, and I was so jealous. You know, I am just like dying, and I'm like, I really want to see Kiss, and they're not touring because they're doing poorly, but now they're going to tour again. They're out touring, and the sales aren't going well. They're having trouble putting asses in seats. The show I go to, which was at the Worcester Centrum, was packed. So I was like, what do you mean there's no sales? Turns out there was also a show in Providence, a show they canceled. And if you had a ticket to Providence, you brought it to Worcester, and they found you a seat in Worcester. They combined the two venues. That's why it was so packed in there that night. It was the highest, the most asses in seat for any show on the tour. Thanks, Kiss. So it's a packed house, right? This is like January of '83, maybe February. I don't have my license yet. I'm just about to get my license. But I don't have it yet. And so I drive out with some friends. All of those kids in the car had been to that Dynasty show. We go sit up in our seats. We're way in the back. We're like so far away from the stage and can't really see that well. This is before, big video cams, so you can't really see anything. You see what you see, and that's like it. There's like lights and everything, but there's no big video screens. That doesn't come till like later in concert going. And I'm like, my God, where's Ace's Les Pauls? He's playing all these like Jacksons. And I thought they're okay. I thought Paul lost the audience a couple of times during the night. They were like, woo, woo. And he was just going off about how critics like we're being like that. When critics give our albums a bad rating, they're basically telling you that you suck. And I was like, is that what they're doing, Paul? I suck because your album got a bad review. I mean, it was like, the dude had some issues about the critics. He went on a rant about critics for a while. Anyway, show gets over. We go outside, we get in the car, and they are livid, my friend, because they had separated. They were going up to go to the front of the stage. They're clowns. They're going everywhere, right? I sat in my seat with a bunch of other kids who were the same way. We just sat there. But they were off to go get, like, front row and, whatever. And they come back, and they're like, that show sucked. That wasn't Ace. I go, that wasn't Ace? They're like, he had some stupid unk on his face. I was like, really? I go, oh, my God. They're like, that wasn't Ace. They're, like, freaking out. I'm like, oh, my God. So I saw Gene, Paul, Eric Carr, rest in peace, and Vinnie Vincent. His career can rest in peace. But it was just so bizarre. I was so far away, and with the lack of screens, I didn't even realize it was Vinnie Vincent. And I don't think he lasted more than that tour, right? That was like his only tour. The next time I saw them, it was supposed to be the Mark dude there. I can't remember his last name, but he was out all of a sudden, and they brought in Bruce Kulick. Wasp opened up on that show, if I remember correctly. That was a general admission too. So Kiss is in, right? They're doing pretty bad. And I'm in this band with this dude. He has the space. We're hanging out a lot together. I got my 1979 Mercury Grand Marquis ex-police vehicle. That's the car I'm driving. And I got a nice, pretty good Blaupunkt. I think I had a Blaupunkt going for a little while. Right? Maybe some Sony speakers. So I had a nice little rig going. And he gets in the car. He's like, dude, I just bought the latest Kiss album. Like, you want to check it out? Like, we had to be all like quiet. I was like, oh, okay, yeah, let's just keep this between us. And he pulls out Creatures of the Night. And we're like, yeah, it's probably best we don't. Yeah, Mark St. John. We're like, it's probably best we don't tell anybody that we've listened to this. This will just be our little secret that we're gonna drive around and listen to Creatures of the Night in my cop car. Probably smoking a doob and listening to the new Kiss album. So we throw it in the deck. And it opens up with Creatures of the Night, and we're looking at each other. We're like, this is pretty good. By the time we get to the end of the record, we're going, dude, this might be their best record. We are like really freaking out. He's like, I really like it. And I'm like, I really like this too. And we are sneaking off to Kiss lovers, like, don't, this will be our little quiet drive time where we can drive around and listen to Kiss, and we don't have to tell anybody about this, and we love that. We quietly enjoyed, without telling anybody, Creatures of the Night, because it was embarrassing to say that you liked Kiss. It really was. And we did. We would sneak off and we would listen to Creatures of the Night. And I just remember saying, like, this album is pretty damn good. And just going like, oh, I cannot believe how heavy this record is. Compared to pretty much all their prior records. This is they're getting out of rock and roll and almost getting into metal. And it's sort of, now all of a sudden, Quiet Riot's album's coming out. Ozzy's got a couple of albums out. Run 1 in 80, 1 in 81. Metal is sort of the thing. Metal is the hot sound at the time, and they come out with a metal album. And man, as much as Gene and Paul probably don't want to admit it, it was Vinnie Vincent, right? It was that dude's push towards a metal sound. That was the big. What else changed? It was the addition of that dude that made the difference, period. And it went away when he left. So the whole record, I got it actually over, where is it? Right there. So this is the remaster. The other thing is it just came out November 18th. What's today? November 19th. So this is why it's dropped yesterday online. This is Creatures of the Night, the 40th anniversary box set. Of course, it's not quite the same experience, when you're online. But it's got everything. War Machine, I believe, is the last tune of the record. And then all these are all your additional tunes. And I want to say 76 tunes? 76, but they're not tunes. Some of them are the flames, the tour sound effects. I mean, they really have everything. They have a lot of stuff from the tour in 82 and 83. Like here's one in Texas of March of 83. Here is December of 82. Right, the tour it's a winter tour, 82, 83. I saw them in like January of 83, maybe February, but I think January. At Worcester Centrum. And I think in our minds, first of all, they had to take the makeup off, right? As much as we love this album, I think the makeup was holding them back. I think the makeup was still, kept them rooted as a kids band, instead of a serious band, despite how good the record was. And of course, Vinnie Vincent sticks around for, one more record, Lick It Up. And again, one of their better records. But Creatures, I've been listening to it pretty consistently for the last 24 to 48 hours. And, man, I forgot how good this album is. Just the whole freaking thing. Really, really good. To me, it might be, maybe Destroyer is better. Or Kiss Alive, I might peg above it, but this is up there. It's certainly top 5. It might even be top 3. I love Creatures. It's just such a good record. Yeah, maybe it goes to like Partners in Crime, something like that. I forget the original lineup. But to me, it really sort of was a bridge for them into the next, right? The last record with makeup, that doesn't come back for another 10 years, more, like 15 years. And, it was a great swan song for the makeup era. And some people would say that the Creatures 2 album is Revenge. right? In what, 92? Took them like another 10 years, but they get another one out. Again, they fall back into the pop world in the late 80s because they don't know. They're like, oh, is metal going to still be a thing? They don't know. It's like, just stick with something, but they can't. They're so worried, It's like, right? So yeah, Creatures is just such a departure from what they were up until that point, and they finally the hard-edged, again, since pretty much Destroyer, they never quite got back there, But and the album has staying power because two of their biggest songs, the ballad, well, really three: War Machine, I Love It Loud, and I Still Love You, the ballad. But they still play those live. Those still make it out to the live sets. Almost one of those three will be in a live set. The other thing is the guitar solo on the ballad, I Still Love You, right here. This song right here, I Still Love You. Again, I can't really play it. I don't want to get into copyright trouble, but I Still Love You has this really amazing solo. Can anybody tell me, I know the answer, can anybody say in the comments who played, I think it's the only solo he plays on the record, who played the amazing guitar solo? Yeah, David Belcher has it right. Robin Ford. It was Robin Ford. Now it all makes sense. You're like, man, the solo's really good. Oh, well, it's Robin Ford. That's why. That's why. It was friggin' Robin Ford on that. And you can hear the blues, right? That minor blues. And he hits those, like, he does like, something, right? That nice little pick and drop and stuff, Oh, Robin Fordisms. I was like, oh my God, of course. Yeah. So, I want to say Vinnie Vincent maybe played on like 4 or 5 tracks, and then the rest is like probably Bob Kulick, if I had to guess. And they brought in Robin Ford for the guitar solo on that track. Like a lot of Kiss albums, the exact personnel of who played on it remains a bit of a mystery. Again, watch, who is it? Howie Mandel. He's got Paul Stanley on. And they get into Creatures because Howie Mandel was in the studio when they were recording Creatures. He says, I'm in there and like, didn't you have did Gene write that song? Or was it Gene and this other guy? And Paul goes like, well, you asked Gene that question. He didn't want to answer it. He goes, hey, ask Gene that question. Like, totally skirts it. So, when I think of that album, well, I think of so many, but really it's, I love it. That's such a great, was it, yeah. lyrics like Gene does. Because this is just a B chord. Then just drop the lead B. Right. Right, that chord. Then G, D, E. And then the turnaround is, the chorus is B, E. And then slower than the first turnaround, but the same chords. G, D, E. Good tune. It's one. Gene says it's one of his favorite Kiss songs. Again, I think written with Vinnie Vincent. That's all the notes. Yeah, Danger's a great song. That the whole record is pretty good. Saint and Sinner, of course, Creatures of the Night. Creatures of the Night and I want to say War Machine are both in drop. They're both down in E flat. Tuning it to E flat will make them infinitely easier to learn. I recommend you do that because there's a lot of open string stuff and it doesn't sound right when you have it tuned to E standard. A lot of the other tunes, like I Love It Loud, they're in E standard. And you've got to be tuned to E or you're not going to get, again, the open strings. They're not going to sound right. So just go back and forth. You almost need two different guitarists to play the tunes, play along with the songs on that album. One in E and one in E flat. Didn't know this, but Creatures of the Night was dedicated to the memory of Casablanca founder and early Kiss supporter Neil Bogart, who died of cancer during the recording sessions. Oh, I did not know that. Yeah, exactly, or a Variax. Quentin says, I've played for 40 years and never learned a Kiss song. Can we still be friends? Still? Methinks you are a bit presumptuous. Yeah, if it makes you feel any better, we were never friends. Yeah. Well, Fair Warning came out in 81. Diver Down comes out in 82. So does Speak of the Devil. Maybe Live Evil, or is that 81? I think Live Evil comes out in 82. Same year. There's a big, I want to say Scorpions come out. Probably Blackout is that year. There's probably a Judas Priest album that year. All the metal bands are putting out. The first Quiet Riot album doesn't come out till 83, though. That's really the next year. Same with, I want to say, Motley Crue. Is the Livewire album, is Too Fast for Love, is that 82? I want to say it's 84. 83. But maybe Shout is 83, and Too Fast for Love is really 82 because, you know, it gets big in a year, but it's really out the prior year. Yeah, Judas Priest, British Steel. I could have sworn British Steel was 80, though, or 81. Rock and roll all night. Is it there? Is it? Quiet Riot was the first cassette he ever owned. Metal Health. So yeah, so Kiss, you know, of course, you know, you can keep going. Kiss had to take the makeup off. They had to. They were never going to be taken seriously as long as they kept that makeup on. And the makeup had run its course. And so the makeup comes off. Very famously, the makeup comes off in 84. And I see them a bunch of times without the makeup. So I'd seen them in 83 with the makeup. I don't see them again with makeup until 2012. Then I see them, I want to say, 3 or 4 times in between that without the makeup. At least twice out at the Springfield Civic Center. The first time Wasp was the opener. They had the tank. Eric Carr had the double bass drum. And his double bass drum started to work its way off, and it was working to the end of the let me see if I can find a picture of it. It's working its way to the end of the platform, the drum riser. Gene sees it and runs over and holds it with his foot, and he's yelling for the crew to come out. He's like stuck there to hold it with his foot. Kiss 19 I want to say that was an 85 tour. That was probably the Animalized tour. They were very glam. Oh, maybe it was Worcester. December 20th, 85? It could have been. No, because it was general admission. And I remember it was like warmer. Yeah, there it is, April 6th. There it is. God. You know, I don't want to say I have a pretty good memory, but goddamn, I got a pretty good memory. April 6th, 1986, at the Springfield Civic Center. That was the date. And Wasp opened up, and Chris Holmes was in the Burger King before the show, because he sort of towered over everybody, and he looked quite different than the rest of the people in there, though his hair was in a ponytail. But you could tell it was definitely him. And then Gene showed up in the limo. There was a bunch of groupies hanging out that were pretty smoking, actually, if I remember correctly, for that 86 show. Kids were chanting, tongue, 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 tongue. And when they got the okay to go back there, you know, everyone let out a big cheer. And then Paul showed up in his own limo, and then it was Eric and Bruce Kulick in another. They had to share a limo. You wonder if it was the same limo. They went back to get him. They showed up at different times. They came over in separate limos. Yeah, that was it. April 8th, April 6th, 1986. That was absolutely the show. And then, I want to say I saw them again. Yeah, opening act, Wasp. Yeah, heavily criticized tour. That was definitely it. Chris Holmes isn't 8 feet tall, but he's like good 6'5", 6'6". He's up there. I've never met any members of the Kiss band, but when they were showing up for that show, I mean, we were right there. They were probably 30 feet away from us, but down, right? So we're up on this, like, we're waiting in a big line for a general admission, which turned out to be pandemonium when they finally opened the doors. And we were along this thing, but then the driveway next to it goes way down. So they're like below us, maybe 15 feet down below us, going down to a big garage that you could drive into, but the limos just went down the bottom of the driveway. And then out came Gene. He waved to everybody. Out came Paul. And then it was Eric and Bruce Kulick. And let me see if I can find. So what tour was that? The Asylum tour. Images. They have a picture of the stage here. No, that is not it. Yeah. Right. I wish I had a better close-up of it, though. Let me put, see if I can get just a good picture of the stage. Yeah. There it is. Well, I think it's like this one here. You see that with the little stairs in the front? And here's the double bass. And the double bass started coming out. And Gene ran up there and put his foot in the front of the bass to keep it from falling off the pedestal. When I saw them in '83, I remember them coming down. I remember them falling on those friggin' Paul coming down a set of stairs and falling face first down those stairs. Lost his footing or whatever on those big friggin' platform shoes, and he took a header. Oh my God. But I'm pretty sure that was it. It was either that or I'm trying to Kiss 1985 stage. Yeah, like that. It had some steps in the front. With that, yeah. That's it. You see that with those stairs in the front? I'm pretty sure that's it. With these steps. Wish I had a better close-up. Nah. Yeah, there you go. Right there. That's it. Gene had to run up there. It was like, oh my God. I swear to God, they are Spinal Tap. They friggin' are Spinal Tap. I mean, between all the drummers, all the band members over the years. And the crazy thing is that you realize now, like Peter was not from their era. Peter's like 10 years older than those guys, right? He's much older. And he came from like a scooped up, do-woo-woo, right? Right? Like an R&B. That's why his solo album sucks so bad. He's not a rock dude. Never kind of was. He was more like an adult contemporary artist. And it killed them because, their biggest friggin' song, it wasn't even close, their biggest song, and probably ever, I'd have to look at the charts. I gotta think it's Beth. Right? That hit, I want to say, for 1975, it was like number 2 or number 3 for the year. I want to say, Still the One. Yeah, still the one, 'cause the Beth's mine. Still the one, we're still having fun. That was number 1. I want to say Beth was like 2 or 3. It's up there. Yeah, there's a fine line between clever and stupid. Well, that and the very quick line of, well, she's not supposed to smell the glove. And then the other guy goes, well, no, she is supposed to smell the glove, just not over and over again. I'm just as God made me. Played Beth with my mom, tried to show her the Kiss was not a band. She said, they should be home with their wives. They have jobs, Mom! That sounds about right. Well, they should get jobs that allow them to also spend time with their families. Paul complained that Peter was the worst drummer. Well, Peter was a terrible drummer. I'll bet Anton Fig played on like 90% of their material. I mean, they were always bringing in studio guys. Peter was not a great... Peter was a good singer. That's why they wanted him, his voice. They went to go see him. The second he opened his mouth and started singing, they're like, that's the guy. Because they fancied themselves to be the Beatles. And they're like, he'll become a better drummer. But he never really did. Casey Kasem. Number 2, Beth. Wasn't Beth another who really wrote that song? Maybe. Yeah, probably written by, just like, Aerosmith, pretty much, ever since, like, Dude Looks Like a Lady. Those are all written. They brought in that woman, songwriter who writes a ton of songs for a ton of bands. Yeah, all those pop songs by Aerosmith are all ghostwritten. Yeah, God. The other thing that was that I think it pissed off certainly Peter was that in the movie there's a scene where they play Beth on the acoustic guitar. And that acoustic guitar arrangement of Beth is pretty stunning. And it's like, wow, that's really good. They hired a Nashville session guy who wrote that arrangement. They bought that arrangement from like a Nashville session guy to do that, right? Some finger picker to play that. And Kiss couldn't play that. That was punched way past their skill set. And Paul insisted on being the one holding the guitar because whoever played it was a really good player. And so Paul wanted to be the one, holding the guitar and miming the playing as if he was the one playing it. And of course, as a kid, I thought it was Paul, but it wasn't. It was some like session dude. And sure enough, Peter was bullshit because he felt like Ace was the lead guitar player. It should have been Ace playing that part and not Paul. Paul was more of a singer. It was really Ace was the the first chair, so to speak, for guitar. But Paul insisted on it, and the rest is just one more thing that sort of that movie wrecked him. That movie friggin' wrecked him, as it should have wrecked him. It damn near killed him. So, yeah, it was like little things like that I think was really driving wedges in. And many ways they were just so fake, right? Kiss Alive 1 is practically a studio album, right? But I think Kiss Alive 3, isn't it just like Super Bowl cheering? Right? I don't even think that's on stage. I think that was all done in the studio and they just live cuts. Right? And they can go back and track and they use like the Super Bowl. Yeah, you might not see Buddy. I think he's up in Ben's room. I haven't seen any of the cats. Was never a fan. Kiss is one of those acquired tastes. You either love them or you hate them. And I think most of the people that really love Kiss are dudes of like my age group, right? Because they were kids when Kiss, right? And there's another age group that really likes Kiss, and that is the one that around this age where they were impressionable when Revenge came out. Because Revenge was actually a really pretty big album. Revenge did wonders for them, really did revive them quite a bit. I don't know where the kitties are. The other thing is Christine 16, that was a demo done by Eddie and Alex Van Halen for Gene. I think that's, Eddie's playing like piano. And no, you're hearing studio guys in the when Kiss does it. But he had Eddie and Alex, and you can almost hear with the drum beat, bah, 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 right? It's Jamie's crying, right? Christine, right? Oh, Jamie's crying, right? And you can hear it like with Alex's drums. You can really hear how Alex influenced the drum sound on Christine 16. And the guitar solo is straight from Eddie. He wrote that solo and kept it simple. And Gene loved it so much he forced Ace to learn it. Oh, Vinnie Vincent wrote for the Revenge album as well. Well, that makes, see, there you go. You know, I know they hate the guy, and there's a lot to hate about Vinnie Vincent. But you know, they can't help but admit that some of their best work was done when he was part of the songwriting process. Steve, you should cover more bands like this. Oh God, I could probably do a whole night just on Zeppelin. I can tell you how much I loved Kiss. When I discovered Kiss and didn't really know any of their songs, a song came on the radio that I'd never heard before, and it was Last Child by Aerosmith. And I remember hoping that Last Child was a Kiss song, because it just sounded like a song that Kiss might play. But sadly it wasn't. It was another band. But I remember saying, oh, I hope this is Kiss. But it wasn't. Oh my God, Zepp, Floyd, I could do a whole friggin' show on both of those bands. Especially Floyd. My God, what a period in my life. Listening to The Wall. Holy Christ. Eating Hall's Mentholyptus. Like they were going out of style. I was hepped up on cough drops. Listening to The Wall nonstop. I probably could do a year on Zepp. The thing about Zepp is that there was a period. Oh, and I probably didn't even tell you about Kiss. So I get into Kiss. I want to say this is like 78. That sounds about right. 78. And they got all those posters, right? They have the 4 posters. Peter sitting and with the microphone, probably singing Beth. Ace has got the smoking guitar. Gene with his arms out like this. You got Paul with the guitar, under him, in the gayest possible pose Paul could think of. And they had giant mural posters at the time. And I remember going down to the Booksmith and dropping money on posters. I was addicted to buying posters, every one. I had the Mylar. I had them on New York. I had every friggin' poster they put out. I friggin' had it. My walls were covered. I had to start space planning, I had the car in every little space that was open, above the door. I put Kiss cards up there. You couldn't see the paint on my walls at all. Every inch of that room was covered with some sort of Kiss poster, Kiss card, Kiss friggin' something. And people would look in the room, they're going, I can't believe this. They're like, this is insane. And I was like, yeah, probably. But just the obsession. I had them in the 1776 Kiss. I had the Mylar one. Remember the Mylar poster? God, I had all the Mylar posters. They had at least 2 or 3 giant. I think they had 3 giant posters. I had all 3 of them. Man. I really. I had the comic book. I had both comic books. Yeah, that was probably when I was 12, 13. And then by 14, that all wore off. Took them all down, switched to Zeppelin. By 16, I'm getting Pink Floyd, Zeppelin, maybe a little bit of Hendrix. But by the time I really get to 16, everything's dead to me but Zeppelin. Like, if you're not Zeppelin, I'm not interested. Zepp has enough of a catalog that no other band need apply. Of course, AC/DC, huge AC/DC fan. Scorpions, Ozzy, Black Sabbath. I loved Mob Rules and, Live Evil and, all that stuff. But, yeah, God, Zepp. I went through a period where it was Zepp only. But it wears off. It wears off. I never got the Kiss figures. By the time the Kiss figures came out, that's for the kids like behind me in a grade. I was just past that age where I just couldn't do it. But the 10-year-olds all had it. I was like 12 or 13. I was like, I can't get it. I was maybe even 14. I was like, I can't get this. But the kids, a couple of the young, I remember they brought them into class. I wasn't in their class, but you'd see them out in the schoolyard during recess, with their Kiss dolls. Kiss action figures. I don't think I had the Farrah Fawcett poster, though. That was huge. I might have had the Cheryl Tiegs one. That was the other big one. I think I had the Cheryl Tiegs poster. Probably F Shop. The Kiss color forms, I forgot about those. Yeah, the rub and play stand-up figures. Right. Wow, yeah, damn. The $6 Million Man figures. I never had that. My cousin had that. We didn't have that. I never had the Stretch Armstrong either. He had one of those. And the Evel Knievel, right? You'd wind it up, zzz, get it going, and pop it, wow, that thing would take off. I don't think I had a Kiss lunchbox. I think I was too old. When I had lunchboxes, I had like Scooby-Doo and $6 Million Man and like Brady Bunch or something. Partridge Family. I might have had a Partridge Family one, But then you just brown bagged it after you got so old. Couldn't do the lunch boxes anymore. Did I buy the Kiss casket? Did it get buried in? No way. It's too much of a premium. Oh my God, the pet rock. My dad had a pet store. We sold pet rocks. You could come and buy a pet rock. Not only did we sell a pet rock, we had a woman buy a bird cage. Like a $40 friggin', $40 is a lot of money in 1975, the pet rock. She bought a bird cage for that friggin' rock. Okay, lady. Oh, yeah, let's check out the Helix. So that was THU, which I use most of the time. Now, admittedly, this first patch that I have set up for Helix is really over the top. I'm warning you right now. Because I was fooling around and Helix doesn't have a standalone where I can save the patches, so I saved this one inside of Reaper. And I think it's going to bring it back. Let's see what happens here. Hold on to your butts. Helix. And it has a it's got a fuzz pedal. I'm warning you right now before I even turn my volume up. It's got a fuzz pedal, it's got a ton of delay, and I think it's a fuzz pedal with a ring modulator in it. So just even more fun. All right, are you all ready for this? Let's hope it works. Oh, I think it's going to work. You can see how that can be a little addicting. Right? You know what I'm saying? So I think when we would do that before, it would sound more fizzy than fuzzy. They changed how they handle their cabs. And I think it's, I think it's so much better now than it used to be. I also sort of figured out that, and I don't know why, you know why, all of their sounds are coming from the Helix. And most people are plugging the Helix directly in the front of their amp. So most of their sounds are mono. This is clearly stereo, right? But you've got to go in and tell it that. And I didn't even realize they almost like they have no stereo effects. They have no stereo effects. But then at the top, you look and it's like, oh, wait, there's a drop down. And I'm in mono. If I drop this down, then there's stereo. I just choose the stereo one, and then all the stereo ones come in. Again, their interface is still not like the easiest to navigate, but I found myself, being able to put together, a crazy sound like this that I really loved, Now, again, that's a very affected sound, so it's not what most people are gonna be using. But I just sort of, I really liked it. So let's just go to like, there's the, pretty good. Straight ahead. That's just like a Fender or something. Again, I'd be like, that's not that good. But then I'd go to like, and again, you have to sort of figure this out. I'd go here, and I'd change the, right? Start to mess around. Find out it has a distortion. It's so much better than it was just the very last iteration of this software. Let me go back here to the cab. I'm sorry, to the verb. And then they have, you know. And again, I can hear that that's, you know, that's stereo. Or I can, no, those are mono. Stereo. There it goes, right? Again, the amp just sounds so much better than in the prior versions. Yeah. Again, a little muffy, a little muffed, but I find just switching up. Let's go back to that amp, and maybe. Right? I mean, not bad. I'm actually, I can't see your comments, you know? All right, and then the Cali. Again, I'm not crazy about that. I think that input's too high. There it goes. Again, it's just so dry. It's like dry oatmeal. It's like, could you make it sound any worse with these, you know, the standard, you know, sounds? Just, you know, put a. You know, that's a little much. Let me just bring that down a hair. Where is the mix right there? And I think, can I add a delay right there? No. That's the weird thing is adding items to it seems a little, again, it's not the most intuitive. It's so much easier with THU. I can just drag the item over. But when I try to drag, can I just drag this delay? Oh no, see it. It changes my reverb to a delay. It's almost like there's only so many blocks. That's a delay with a chorus built into it. And then there's all kinds of. Anyway, you sort of get the idea. Again, it's not helped. It sounds a little flubby. But going, as you could see when you go through and you set them up yourself, they're much better than the stock. That's not a bad sound. But again, it's like dry oatmeal. Can we turn it? No, I don't like that delay either. And that reverb is just... That's a bit much. That's a bit much. Where's my... And again, the parameters aren't all the same. You have to, you find yourself hunting, for some of the parameters. But that said, the last time, or the last couple of times we've tried this, it has not gone well. We have, we've tended to really not like it. That sounds pretty good, though. Remember, there's like a chorus flange built into this reverb. Let me get over to the comments. I unfortunately, I can't work this and see the comments at the same time. Again, it's such a huge improvement over their last version, and they overhauled their cabs, and you can hear it. It definitely sounds better, without a doubt. It sounds better, a lot better than it did prior. Still, the interface. If I had to, give them some advice, I would say, does Helix Native have to look like the Helix, which is a piece of hardware that's sort of bound by a very small screen? We have no boundaries like that here. You can come up with anything. Why don't you call it, like, I don't know, Helix Classic, or Helix, Real, or Helix Max Plus or something, and make the pedals look like pedals. Instead of looking like a signal chain in a fractal. You know what I'm saying? It looks like a signal chain in a floor unit or a rack unit, instead of what you could do, because you have a wide open palette, right? We're not confined to this. Now, I know that, people get used to working with Helix and they want to work with it a certain way, but maybe you can have, hardware version and software version, and we can have two different looks, because I don't think that this, let me see if I can, can I bring this up? Yeah. Let me, can I show you? No, hold on. Yeah, there it is. You see? That's not the most intuitive looking item. Right? I mean, obviously there's a signal chain. Here's a distortion. Here's the amp. And an EQ. There's their new cab technology. There's the delay, but again, the delay is just a bunch of sliders, but the sliders have different scales. Right? Some are percentages, some are dB. Again, it's not the best interface, but it does match the one that you would get if you owned a Helix. But I don't own a Helix. So it's not that important to me. You know, you see what I'm saying? So I wish they just made this to look like, I don't know, kind of like, well, what THU and the Guitar Rig 6 and Amplitude 5 all do. And they, a little bit more, what do they call that? Polyamorpho or something. Right, there's a name for it. Polyskewism or something. Morphoskewism. You know. I don't have any. I think they did switch to an IR, but I'm not using like a third-party IRs. I'm using whatever IRs are built into the system. But this is. Thanks, Gary. Skeuomorphic. Or polymorphism. Geez, I'm not really sure which one it is. Is it polymorphism or is it... I think you're right. Skeuomorphic. All right, let's add some... Where's that delay? Get some... Oh, really? You're doing... Oh, that's weird. A little faster. Yeah. Fun with delays. That's all the delays, all of them. So sadly, we have a delay shortage now. Terry, there's none more delays. So anyway, you can hear it. It's got that. You can hear it's got a flanger. It's got a flanger. How's your flanger? Yeah, that's the dual delay. This is the simple. The simple delay. There's the, that's the mod chorus echo. There's the dual delay. That's the one we started with there. And then multi-tap. We'll have to figure out a use for that one. Another multi-tap. I'd have to. Kind of an odd one. That's another multi-tap. This is ping pong. Sweep. That almost sounds like. You like this one? Oh yeah, gotta have faith. You gotta have faith. Well, thanks for the update, Terry. One can find themselves lost. One can. Duct delay? I don't get it. I'll bet it gets ducking from something else. Reverse delay? Oh, yeah. Vintage digital? Oh, I like that. Again, I just think it sounds so much. Got to go back to the stream here. I just think it sounds so much better than all prior versions. Right? Anything prior to 3.5 kind of sucked, but 3.5 they changed their cabs and the whole thing just sounded better, like right out of the gate. The only downside to Helix, as you can tell, this is not a sponsored video, is that they're kind of pricey. I think they get I think it's $3.99. It's like $400 for that software. Now maybe they'll have a Black Friday sale or something like that. And if you own a Helix, it's only $99. So maybe they're just trying to offer it for people that have a Helix and they want a software version of the hardware that they bought into. But if you're doing a standalone and you don't already own a Helix, and a Stomp will get you the $99 price. A Stomp gets you. A Pod won't. But even a Helix Stomp will get you the $99 price. So it might be even worth it just to get the Stomp, just so you can get the friggin' the Helix for $99, right? You save yourself $300 over the retail of $399, which I think is a little steep, That said, Black Friday, maybe there's going to be a sale. They're almost always, I can't remember in the last 6 years that THU didn't have a sale on Black Friday. So again, if you like THU, I use that most of the time. Check for THU. I don't know about Helix and IK Multimedia. Probably they will. Most companies do. It's probably going to be on sale. Helix has been out for a little while too. And so a product that you have just sitting there already developed and done, it's easier to put on sale than some brand new product that just came out. And you're still, recouping R&D costs on it. So maybe you'll see an IK Multimedia this year. That's what I'm using right now. That is IK Multimedia. The other big one I use is THU. And THU, although it is not on sale right now, usually goes on sale on Black Friday. I would wait until it's at least 40% off before I'd buy it. Get the Stomp, get the coupon, then return the Stomp. Oh man, that sounds a bit abusive. Yeah, Helix I think came out in 2015. So it's 7-year-old technology now. I mean, they've had a bunch of firmware updates, but, Leslie 18 cabinets? Nope, I don't know those. Are they an IR? What does it say on that amp? It says Forever Best. Cliff. That's the president of Orange. I got that at a gear thing a couple years ago. 5 years ago. Is it 5 years ago? 4 years ago? 4 years ago? 4 years ago? So, yeah, Harley Benton. Yeah, I saw that. Yeah. I saw that because I was going to sell some Harley. So, if you ever go on a Reverb, they never have any Harley Bentons. I've done really well selling some Harley Bentons on there, you know, because they never have them. But now they've opened up an official Harley Benton USA store, and their prices are pretty damn low. Kind of priced me out of the market for selling my old Harley Bentons on there. Good thing I got rid of the ones I did when I did, because I don't think I could get what I'm asking for them anymore. They've like really slashed prices, because now you're competing with Harley Benton themselves, and apparently they're getting them over here for short money because they're a guitar that's like $200 to $300. It's pretty cheap. Yeah, check them out. You know, it's the same guitars. It's not like they're doing anything in the States. They're just selling in the States. But yeah, that's it. Thank you, Buzz. You're the man. You the man. Late night coffee fund. I do like the coffee. Do I have any coffee? I do not have any coffee left. Just finishing up at work. Hopefully get time and I'll catch more of the stream. We'll be wrapping up here about 10. The only thing that's stopping me was the exorbitant shipping costs. Well, I think that was their reason. I think they realized if they got a presence in the U.S., then they could sell without having the crazy shipping costs, right? Get a whole bunch over here at a much lower shipping cost, right? Get a container or whatever. See if you can get just like a large shipment here, and then, you know, just work off of those. So I think they're trying to break in. And Reverb is their preferred seller. HP, from what I've tried, is good for the money. Oh, yeah. Harley Bentons are. It's hard to compete, you know. You know, other brands probably get their guitars made in the exact same place, but they can't compete because they have to brand them, and right, it's that in-house branding that Tolman has that really saves them the money. Pretty good. Not bad. Well, yeah, I don't know a ton of Creature songs. The only one I really know is I Love It Loud. I played it earlier, but, you know, and then, of course, again, I'd have to refresh it because I always thought it was... don't think that's it. I'd have to listen to it again. You realize you're slightly off. It's sort of like that, but not really. You know, a lot of those tunes, I'd have to hear them again. It is a cool delay. Do-do. See, the other thing is to bring that, you don't want the level down. Vintage swell. That's weird. Transistor tape. Yeah, so it really degrades on the repeats. Yeah. Bucket Brigade. Yeah, so it's got very little time. Kind of a swelling. They call it Adriatic swell. Elephant Man, which I'm thinking means Memory Man. Again, it's supposed to be analog because it's got very little delay time. What's its max? 500 milliseconds, yeah. Multipass? That's weird, huh? I don't know how you can get something musical out of it. Here you go. Yeah. Multipass. Oh, glitch delay. Yeah. Boy, that can go long. That can go 4 seconds. Speed it up. That's fast. Oh, I see. So it's good. That's why it's so long, because of the glitch. Meh. Euclidean. that all of them? Oh my God, there's like 6 more. Crisscross? Tessellator. I don't get it. Oh, that might need some external. It's not lit up. Maybe it needs an external expression pedal. Same with the ratchet, not lit up. There's the crisscross. I think we like that Euclidean. Gonna do feedback? Interesting. Interesting. I'll go back to... That's vintage digital. We like that, or we like the clean? I almost think I got to bring that like mix down. Yeah. Boy, it stops abruptly, huh? So what's it, rotate? I don't hear it. What's fill? Oh, I see. All right. Oh, I see. So it's 3 fills. Oh, interesting. That's sort of a weird, very weird. Let me bring that time up. All right, I got to get back to the chat here. I know. You think the sweep sound? You like the sweep one? Yeah. Which one was the sweep? Sweep echo. That's pretty cool. It's almost like a bit crusher. Oh, we're having fun. At least I am. One of us is. All right, dudes. Well, it's a little after 9. Should probably let the family out of lockdown. Have a good one, speaker. We'll talk soon, buddy. And conclusion, love THU. Oh, I'm not moving off THU anytime soon. I still love THU. Trust me. But it's nice to know that there's at least one other game in town. The other ones have been lackluster. I think right now THU is number 1, and Helix has quickly moved up to like number 2 from not even considered until the huge change. It definitely sounds better now, without a doubt. So There you have it. All right, dudes. Thanks so much for hanging out. Super extra special thanks to anyone who contributed. I always appreciate that. Of course, Brofist to my mod squad. Hashtag Brofist. YouTube wants me to run an ad right now. Do I dare click on it? I won't. Clicking the close button. Will there be a U-up? Maybe, maybe not. Last week I found myself happening to be, was it last week I did one? Found myself up a little late. Maybe it was the week before. I don't know. We do one once in a while. It happens. All right. All right, dudes. No, you rock. And I will I'll see you guys at the very least in a week. I got a couple of videos coming out this week. I think I got a Donner video coming out on Wednesday. I'll probably do the pick giveaway this week. Good week for a giveaway, Thanksgiving week. And there you go. There you have it. There you have it. No, you rock. All right, dudes. Well, have a great week. I'll see you guys a week from tonight at the very least. And there you go. We can talk about all the scores we got on Black Friday next Saturday. All right, dudes. Later.